Welcome to Free Enterprise 1983. You know, this is the weekend doing these free enterprises that I look forward to the most. We always, thank you, we always talk about the most important function you can go to in a year's time is your family reunion. And certainly free enterprise is the second most important, but it's the one that I enjoy the most because we have a chance to recognize some great people in our past and what they've set up for us here in the form of a constitution, and why we have this very wonderful, beautiful land that we're so privileged to live in. And I guess we're the first people to ever do this thing, to set up this time each year, a special time where we take time out of our lives to recognize this very specialness that we all can enjoy. And many of you that may be new may not be aware, but we do this across the country for the entire organization. We have 10 Coliseum functions across the country to celebrate Free Enterprise Day this year. And this is the first one. So, yeah. I believe you're going to learn a lot this weekend about freedom and free enterprise, especially some of you that are sort of new. And that's why I want you to really keep your hearts and minds open, because I think you're going to get excited, not just about your business, but about your country. Because if you didn't get excited about your country, you couldn't get excited about your business. And you know, most of us maybe have worked in the corporate world, like I was a city manager for 15 years. After I got out of the service, I served in the military. In fact, I was in Korea, and it ties in very well. I was 52 last Sunday, so you can see my age ties in very well with the fact that I served in Korea when I was in the military. But I got out and went to college and thought college was going to be the key. I was always told, if you want to get ahead, go to college. Go to a government school, and the government's going to teach you how to really make it. Well, the government didn't teach me how to make it, folks, just like they don't teach anybody else how to make it. In fact, the greatest part of my education has been out of the government school system. Basically, the government school system taught me how to be broke. And I think, you know, that's fine if that's what somebody wants in life. And I didn't really want that, but that's what I got, whether I wanted it or not, because that's what they taught me and that's what I was doing. And I want to talk about a couple things to you tonight that I think is very, very important, because I don't know if you're still concerned about it, but it's just doesn't seem to get off my mind that the communists could follow that plane for 2.5 hours, and then that guy could pull that trigger and send that missile into that 747 and kill 269 people just like that. And I think that goes to show what really is going on in this world today. And here they are down here in Central America, and we act like there's nothing going on. Here they are over in got all these other countries. Here we are, been financing them for all these years. We've basically built Russia with our money, and they've never paid us a nickel back of all the money that's been given to them. We've been robbed and given to our enemies, the communists, which is a godless society. And we get mighty concerned, and we see this sort of thing happen. We saw our 52 hostages taken over in Iran, and we can do a thing about it. We've seen what's happened when little Vietnam conquered America. We've seen it when North Korea conquered America. We've seen ourselves lose 2 wars. We've seen ourselves at the Yalta Agreement at the end of World War II basically give away everything to the communist world. We saw ourselves set up basically the communist regime in China in 1949, done basically by the people that work for our government. We see ourselves having a money system in this country today that we just rent someone else's paper, that they call it money. We see ourselves paying over half of our income in taxes. And we see the enemy out there, and there is an enemy. We see this great monster that's looming over the world, and we act like no personal concern. A lot of guys, all they want to know is it Friday night, I'm going to get off work for the weekend, where's my 6-pack and my TV? And I think that the wool's been pulled over the eyes of the American people. And I want to lift a little wool for a few minutes. Okay? I believe we have been taught a lie, by and large, and I believe the people that are teaching it don't even know they're teaching a lie. And I hope this is going to make sense to you. Number one, I'm not a free man because I get my authority from government or from man. There's no man that's got a right to tell me whether I can live in freedom or not. I get my right to live in freedom from God in heaven. And that's what America's all about. That's the only reason we can claim freedom in this country. Because we don't have a king, queen, or a czar. In America, the government people, the government workers, are the servants of the people. The people each are kings and queens. And the servants serve the kings and queens. The Constitution of the United States makes each citizen in this country a king and a queen. Now, not many people are applauding on that one. They don't understand that one. You will before I get through. The founding fathers of this country knew that government had been the enemy of mankind since the recorded history of mankind. Government is what kills people. Government's what creates wars. When men get power over other men, something dreadful and terrible begins to happen. And throughout the history of the world, you see where people have been maimed and robbed and killed because of government. There's 41 wars going on in the world today, right now. Governments have always been man's plague. And America was going to be different. America was going to be the most different nation in the history of the world, according to the forefathers. We were going to have things in order in this country. Now, you can tell a country where the people are in control of the government rather than the government in control of the people. Now, when the government is in control of the people, you have no free press, no free speech, no freedom of religion, you have no due process and no jury trial. If you want to know any nation that there's no freedom, they have none of those things. In a nation where the people control the government, supposedly, you have free press, free speech, freedom of religion, and the due process, which includes the freedom of assembly as we have today, and jury trial. Now, you see, most people think that in America, the only vote that we have is one vote. They're not aware that we have more power than one vote, and I'm going to prove to you that the power in America is in we the people and not in they the government. Now you see, there has to be an order of authority. In America we claim, and we are the first nation in the history of the world that did this, that God is the head of this nation. Whether you like it or not, that's what the founding fathers did. They made God the head of this nation and not a king, queen, or a czar. This is a nation under God. The Bible says, well, in one part of the portion that I read, not all of you have that, I understand that, and I'm not asking you to be my religion, says, give unto Caesar what's Caesar's. Well, in America, we don't have a Caesar. Thank God. We don't have one to give unto like that. And we're not going to make the government itself a Caesar, because the government is not my master, the government is my servant, according to the Constitution of this country. Why do I say that? Because the orderly process is this. In America, it's God, man, Constitution, government, public servants, and the lowest of all is the case and statute law. The authority comes from man, from God to man, from man to the Constitution, because God created man created the Constitution, and through the Constitution we create the government, and through the government we create public servants, and for public servants create the case law and the statute law. The case law and the statute law is not over man and not over God and not over the Constitution. Case law is the lowest of all the laws. The number one law is God's law. And when God's law interferes, when man's law interferes with God's law, I take God's law, period. Now, so again, the orderly due process is God in America, God, man, then the Constitution. But man means we the people, not the elected officials, because the elected officials come under the authority of the government, which is under the authority of the Constitution. Now let me tell you where the framers of the Constitution were extremely wise. They knew the weakness of man that got power over other men, because recorded history had shown it. They knew that if we could vote for our elected officials, which we have a Republican form of government, a republic and not a democracy, because there's never been a democracy in the history of the world that didn't wind up in despotism, because the majority will take advantage of the minority. That's why that in the House, up in the Congress and the Senate, that's why that we have the House broken down by population, but the Senate is broken down not by population, but to protect the minority. That's the minority house, to protect the minority, because you get 2 senators, no matter if you have 20 million people like California in your state, or if you have a few 100,000 like some of the smaller states, Montana and places like that, for instance, North Dakota. So that you won't have the majority ruling over the minority there. So they had minority protection right there. It's built right into our system, which we're all aware of, the 3 branches of government there, and the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. Well, when they made this up, they knew that we may vote on people that didn't do what they said they were going to do at the time you voted on them. And I think they were pretty wise there. In fact, I can remember when Jimmy Carter, the Peanut Man, was going to get in office, going to reduce taxes, and he was going to balance the deficit, the budget. Remember that when he ran for office? What did he leave us with? Double-digit inflation, double-digit interest rates, and that's stealing from we the people. Double-digit inflation, inflation of any form, just means that your money is being taken away from you, what they call money, which we don't have any money. By the way, we don't have any legal money, as I understand it. Under the Constitution, we don't have any legal money in America. But they're eroding the value of that which you have and getting you in higher income brackets, bracket creep you get caught in. And right now, there's much less money in the pockets of the people in this country than 8 years ago, by far. I could give you example after example, but most everybody here knows it, because most of the people in America today are living from hand to mouth. They're living from paycheck to paycheck and hope they're making it right now in this country. But where we've gone wrong in this country is we don't have a free press anymore. We have a controlled, owned press that owns the same people that own the money on the press. They are controlled by the same monstrous forces, in my opinion, it appears that. The socialist forces of this world, which that's what Russia is. Russia and China, this great monster called socialism, which is atheism, which means it's a godless society, which means you can't have a dream. Your dream there is staying alive. Russia's a nice place. They've only killed 50 million of their own people since 1917. Oh, but they're nice, you know. China's only killed about 60 million of its own people since 1949. But they're nice folks. They're nice human beings. They just kill you, that's all. Government. The plague of man, government. Man's freedom is directly proportionate to his ability to control his own government and not allow his government to control him. So, do we have freedom of the press? I seriously doubt if we have true freedom of the press. If you want to get in trouble in this country today, you talk about God or communism and they'll get you. If you put communism down, they'll get you, and if you talk about God, they'll put you down. Amen? I don't believe, you know, every time the president speaks, they've got to have some bunch of nuts come on there and tell you what he said. What it is, they understand it takes about 5 hours sleep to get this computer to get things slotted in the right place, and so it's there for recall. And they've already figured it out, so they get in there and jumble it up before you have a chance to get it in there right. It's called mind control. It's called brainwashing. And it's going on all the time, all over the place. All you got to do is cut that one-eyed monster on, and you see it happening. Do you care? Well, okay, we have the authority to elect the elected representatives. We have that authority. But what power do we have to make sure that when they go into office, that they're going to do what they said they were going to do in order to get elected? Have you ever noticed that what they say and what they do is two different things? How many people have ever noticed that? How many people expect them to lie? Stand up if you expect elected officials to lie to get in office. Isn't that a shame? All right, sit down. Thank you. Now, how many people would like to have elected officials that do, before they get in office, what they say they're going to do when they get elected? Stand up if that's what you want. All right? Thank you. Now, every now and then you find an honest elected official. And we like to think they're all honest. But I believe that there's some elected officials in this country that are absolutely opposed to freedom, which means free enterprise, which means economic opportunity, which means everything that America stands for. I think they're bent on giving this country away, of wiping this country out, of putting this country under, so that we can have a one world government under communism. And I believe they have a mighty force rising up against them too. I wish I didn't believe that. I wish to God I didn't believe it. I wish I couldn't stand up here and say it. But I'm going to stand up here and say it, because I believe it. If someone knows different, just tell me, although I got a few questions for you. Freedom of religion. They're teaching separation of state and church. The Constitution doesn't say that. If you get a nation where you allow only godless people to rule a nation, you're going to have a mess, folks. You're going to have a communist situation again, no matter what you call it. You take God out of government and you've got a mess. They're trying to control, through the IRS now, the religious activities in this country. In fact, there's a new ruling out in IRS where they'll pay your neighbor $250 if you happen to drive a little bit nicer car and they think you should, or take a vacation they think you shouldn't take. You know that? It's a new one. There's nobody that can understand the rules on the IRS. The IRS doesn't understand the rules on the IRS. There's no lawyer that understands the IRS code. It's a code set up basically to create fear in the people. Now, when you don't have anything, you don't care much. But when you have something, you get concerned, because you see, basically everybody in this room is a conservative, whether you like it or not. How many people in here are in favor of the government taking from you half of everything you earn from all your wages and everything you own, half of it every year, and doing what they want to with it. I don't see many people jumping up. Now you see, the socialists always want something for nothing, but they want to take it from somebody that's got it in order to get it. They don't want anyone taking anything from them, but they want to take it from somebody else. Now you get back to that order of authority. God, man, Constitution, government, public servants, then case and statute law. So let's say we do elect officials at every level, city, county, even the dog catcher, whatever. And let's say that they do violate the Constitution, that our public officials violate, that our servants violate the law that they're supposed to abide by. What do you do? What authority do you have once you elect somebody into office and they don't do what they're supposed to do? You've got a constitution, they've got a constitution, and they swear with their hand on the Bible that they will abide by the Constitution of the United States of America, and to hold a public office in this country, you have to swear that you will abide by the restrictions of the Constitution of the United States of America if you hold a public office. What do you do with people that hold their hand on the Bible and raise their right hand and swear to God that they will abide by the Constitution and then start lying the minute they say it? What do you do? You have power that you don't even know you have, and I'm going to tell you about it right now. You have 3 votes. First, the vote to vote somebody into office. If you're elected, if you have your name on the list, if you sign up with the right and privilege to vote, you're registered, you can vote in your district, wherever that happens to be. That's vote number 1. Vote number 2. Nobody in this room, nobody in this country, nobody that's an American citizen, nobody even visiting this country can be put in jail, can be tried and convicted unless it goes through something called a what? I mean, as far as being convicted. A grand jury. A grand jury. In other words, we the people, you and I, have to approve of anybody being convicted in this country. We have to approve for them to even be prosecuted by the government before they can even go to trial. Y'all with me? You have to get the permission of we the people, which is the grand jury, which is 12 people that are registered voters that are called and sit upon the grand jury. And I don't care how many laws the president signs, how many laws the Congress makes, whatever the law is that the Supreme Court says it is, if you heap all the congressmen, all the senators, and all the judges, and every district judge, and every DA, and every attorney general, and every state attorney, and every federal attorney, and every legal person in this country today, if those 12 people, if just one person on that grand jury says no, it's no. That's the power the people have in this country. They have the power of the vote on the grand jury. Amen? And then, even if all 12 people vote to convict their fellow citizen, or vote to allow the conviction of their fellow citizen by trial, all it takes is one person on the jury. And that is how you and I and folks like us can control our government. That's where we have the authority over our government that we elect when they do wrong. Amen? That's what America's all about. The power is with the people. The people are kings and queens, and the government employees are your servants. I will not treat a government employee as my superior. They are my servants. I'm the king. In America, the individual is important. They didn't tell you that in school, did they? Even if you've been to law school, they didn't even tell you that, did they? In fact, quite often they try to fix the grand jury with a bunch of dummies. so they can manipulate them and control them. And what we have to do is educate the people in this country so that we can protect each other from the illegal laws. Over 4 billion been passed in this world, and we got a lot of them in this country. Nobody in this room has enough time to read every law that's passed, much less obey them all. Am I making any sense to anybody? Now, are you saying, am I saying it's okay to murder, steal? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that government should be made up of laws, not men. That government should be made of laws. That's what America's all about. You have the laws of common sense, which is truth and justice, integrity. The Mosaic law, God's law, which in a nutshell, the Mosaic law says, treat your neighbor, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Yeah? If you wouldn't have some guy running around with your wife, what right have you got running around with his wife? Some people say, oh, it's okay for me to do unto others, but I don't want them to do it unto me. The 10 law says, do it unto them before they can do it unto you. Mosaic law says, do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. And if we could just get that one law obeyed by the people of this country, we wouldn't even need a police department, folks, anywhere. Just that simple law. That's the 10 Commandments in a nutshell. That's a Mosaic law in a nutshell, is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And if you'll check and look around, that's the source of most of all of our problems as human beings. Misunderstandings or doing something to somebody we wouldn't have them to do to us if the shoe were on the other foot. But then there's laws of grammar. And this is how they change the Constitution on us. You see, the meaning of the Constitution has to be in the words used at the time the Constitution was formed. To give you an example, the 16th Amendment, the Amendment on Income Taxes, said that there could be said that the taxes was only on income and not wages. At that time, if you check the Webster's Dictionary, it was illegal for them to provide an income on wages, only on income, and income is that money which is invested, but it's not wages. It was illegal to have any money, income on wages. It was never intended to have money. It's illegal today to have money on wages. Go back to the original meaning of the law, the meaning of the words, and it's illegal to have an income on wages. That's what we call income today, but the words have been manipulated and changed over a period of time so that now they include income as wages. But if you'll check your tax form, they separate income and wages even on that legally. Just take a look and see what I'm talking about. But now they've applied it on wages. See, when you tax people on their wages, you automatically reduce the productivity of that individual, because as you take more and more of their productivity, they have less reason and purpose to be productive. They round up and say, why produce if they're going to take it all? And so really it's a tax on productivity, which means it increases poverty. Amen? How do we, the people, straighten something like that out? We just go along with it because those servants of ours decided that's the way they wanted it? Why do we allow the people that spend the money to decide how much they're going to spend? Amen? Huh? I think the people that do the spending ought not to have the authority to say how much they're going to get to spend. We ought to decide how much you're going to get and say that's all you're going to get. If not, then you have tyranny. You have dictatorship if not. You're allowing the government, you're allowing the servant to become the Caesar. And that's not what America's all about. What America needs is some knowledge about the greatness of the Constitution of this country, which allows us to sit in this room tonight. The foresight of the forefathers that established that Constitution for you and your kids and their kids and their kids and their kids, that we could live in freedom and not slavery. And that's why America is the light of the entire free world. We're big and we're strong. We have been stronger than we are in comparison to other nations in this world. We've given the Russians all of our computer secrets and all of our military secrets for free that we spent billions of dollars developing. We built the largest truck factory in the history of the entire world over in Russia, totally with our money, our expertise, our computers. They've never paid us a nickel for it, and they were supposed to pay us 6% interest. Those are the same trucks that are in Afghanistan right now, and there's the same factories now making tank engines that's killing people. That don't make sense to me. How about you? Here we gave away the Panama Canal, which was the seventh thing that Lenin said had to happen before the downfall of America, before they captured the bastion of capitalism, which is America. And we sit idly by. It's time we woke up to the responsibilities of liberty. You and I can't afford the luxury of ignorance to live in freedom. You and I can make a difference. You and I together can become a mighty force through knowledge. God said we'd be set free by what? What? Truth would set us free. The truth would set us free. So in America we have 3 votes. The vote to elect them in the first place, then the vote on the grand jury to make sure that the bad laws are not abided by. We tell them to take a flying leap on that law. And then another check on the jury trial. And that's where we need to have our names on the ballots. We need to have our names registered to vote, so we're the ones they call to serve on the grand jury and on the jury. We need to take that time for our fellow men. And when they come up with a stupid law, we need to tell them what to do with it. And that's how you do it, right there. That is the check and balance on the lower case laws that are not above the Constitution. One of my dreams is to live long enough to see some real American people on the judicial, the authority that goes with being one of the Supreme Court judges. You see, I detest that they take my money and kill babies with it. You do what you want to do, but I detest that they take my money and kill babies with it. I detest that they take my money and give it to people that operate and own and control the Federal Reserve System, which is a privately held corporation which has never been audited. I detest it. I get concerned. How about you? Now you say, well, what about how you tie all this into my business? Well, you know, if I didn't get into business for myself, if I'd been a government bureaucrat lying sideways in public trough for another 30 years, after the first 15 I did, I really wouldn't make any difference to me. I could care less. Why I care is because I got into business for myself and my eyes began to be open when I had something to lose. After I had involved myself in blood, sweat, and tears and lived 1,000 lives and talked to people till 5 o'clock in the morning until my eyes were bulging out and told them they could and they can and helped them overcome and helped them understand how to have a business of their own and helped them understand freedom and their rights in a free society. And I've lived that and eaten that and slept that now for 13, almost 14 years. I'm not going to let anybody steal my dream, a government bureaucrat, my servant, or anybody else. I'm concerned. We get into this business because it's an honest business. You see, any true, honest business has got to be an uplifting business. It has to uplift people. You have to have something more than yourself in mind. If you're going to be motivated to keep on keeping on, you have to have a higher goal in mind. You have to have a higher cause. And you see, our business falls right into place because that's what it's called, the American way. That's what Amway is. It was the American way, contracted to Amway. The American way is be in business for yourself. Use your own God-given talents and abilities in the service of your fellow man. Have your own dreams. Shine your dream up and have anything you want. You can have anything you want if you're willing to give it out, because that's what you're going to get back. Message. Whatever you give is what you're going to get. Whatever you give out is going to control whatever comes back. It's a boomerang when you give it out. You watch out, because you can't hide from a boomerang. It's coming back. But they never taught me that in a government school. They never taught me the 4 basic principles, the 4 requirements if you want to succeed. Number 1, decide what you want. Number 2, decide what you'll give up that would interfere with you getting what you want. Number 3, to associate with people who can help you get what you want. And number 4, developing a plan and then working your plan. I never heard about that you had to have a dream, that you had to get excited, that you had to have direction, that you had to get advice from people who knew what they were talking about. I never heard of any of those things. I never heard I had one course on success anywhere. I never had one single minute on success. Never had it in the military, never had it in church, never had it in school, never had it in college, never had it at university, never had it anywhere. Never had it from a friend. Not until I met a little short fat guy in the Amway business did I ever hear of anything like that. You look up here tonight and we have David Taylor, former offensive left tackle of the Baltimore Colts. Stand up here almost pleading with you to understand what you've got. We've got to wake the American people up. We've got to wake we the people up if we're going to keep our nation. Here you see where they can wipe out 269 people, one of our congressmen, about 60 American people by pulling a trigger. And we feel helpless. I'm tired of feeling helpless. Weakness will only get you defeated. I don't want to fight. I don't want to see people killed. Certainly not. That's why I want us to have the mightiest force in the world, because this monster is running to and from all around this world today, and the only thing that will keep us from having a war is our might. Weakness never won anything. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. You have your own. But we the people got to wake up, folks, or there won't be any we the people to wake up. We the people got to get excited about our dream, because the people are no better than the dream, and a dream's no better than the people. The country's no better than its people, and the people no better than their dream. I got a big dream. I got big dreams all over. That's why I got a dream of having 150 coliseums one night filled with people all across this country, where we can bypass the news media and tell people what's really going on. Tell them about their authority. And let's pull together in this country. Let's get we the people together. Let's get we the people unified, because, see, they've tried to divide us. Black against white. Rich against poor. Everything they can use for difference. They'd get fat against skinny if they could. They've used every device to try to destroy us from within, because they know that a house divided will fall. And we can't let America become a house divided. We have to have unity in we the people. It's not government that's important in America. It's we the people that are important in America. If we the people aren't right, the government isn't going to be right. That's why the government isn't right, because we the people are not right. We the people, too concerned about too many things that are placed in front of us all the time through the brainwashing process, the news media, television, sex, soap operas, some of the junk that's going on today to keep people preoccupied mentally. Give them problems and then give them the wrong solutions to the problems. Keep them confused. I don't know everything, and I hope you don't think that I know everything. But I know one thing: freedom has to work in order for business to work. And business has to work in order for freedom to work. Because you can't have personal freedom without economic freedom. You can't have economic freedom without personal freedom. They're Siamese twins. They're inseparable. They have to go together. And we should applaud anybody that makes it honestly in the free enterprise system. I don't care which way they do it, as long as it's honestly. Now, you know, with all my heart, I believe that the Amway business is the best business opportunity that's ever existed in the free world, in the history of mankind. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Some of you take it lightly. Some of us don't. But I'd do anything to keep you from taking it lightly. Now, you may have a lot of degrees. You may have 3 or 4 degrees. I've got several myself. But they don't hold me up. I've been mentally deprogrammed. But I hope you don't take this thing lightly. Someone may say, oh, there's another multi-level system that's better than Amway. No, there isn't. No, there isn't. There's nothing even close to it. We don't even know who the second is. The one we thought was second's gone. We got 350 so of the best products made anywhere in the world. They don't take the back seat to anybody on anything. We got a marketing system that's second to none anywhere in the world. It's proven. There's no question about it. I've seen new companies start up where they'd have 5 or 6 products, and oh man, they're going to be just like Amway. And I hope they do. That would be wonderful if they could do it, just so they don't try to steal our people. Go get their own people. We'll get our own, let them get their own. But everyone that's ever tried to steal our people is either down the tube or going down the tube right now. And that's for 25 years. I'm telling you, there's something special looking over this organization. Don't let anybody kid you into thinking it's going to be easier selling another 5 or 6 products. If another 5 or 6 products makes a difference, we'll add 5 or 6 products. If that's what our system needs, we can add the 5 or 6 products. When I first got in, we had a little over 100. We got about 350 of the most fantastic products anywhere. If it's got Amway's name on it, you don't take the back seat on anybody, period. That's it. They're fantastic. We got the system. So don't fall for that mess. But you're going to find out one thing for sure, and that is anytime you have a dream and you're up there polishing up your dream and trying to make it shinier and bigger and brighter, there's going to be somebody around there trying to steal it from you or dulling it down for you. That's the way you know you've got a dream, when someone's trying to steal it. And you see, that's the way I feel about America, because I got a dream that America is going to remain and be even a better place for all people from any place in this world can live and live in freedom. Like no other place anywhere in the world. That America is the most special place in the world because we the people make it that way. Because we control our government and will not allow our government to control us. And that's why it can't be just good for the fat ones, or just good for the skinny ones, or just good for the rich ones, or just good for the poor ones, or just good for the blacks or the whites or the yellows or whatever. It's got to be good for all people that live in this land. You see, but our major problem is infiltration into our educational system and into our high levels of government. We've been infiltrated by people that want to have a one-world system, a one-world government, and that means the demise of freedom in America, and they're working towards it and have been working towards it for 80-some years, very, very straightforwardly and openly. And there is a great conspiracy, in my opinion, that's been going on. But not too many people can talk about it because they get shot or killed or you can't find them. And I'm concerned about it, too, when I speak about it, quite frankly. But I have a feeling that enough people are going to know it. We're going to spread it around where they can't kill everybody. Because that's how serious it is. That's how serious it is right now. We've still got the power to turn it around. But it's not going to be the politicians. It's not going to be the preachers. I'm sort of mad at all the preachers in this country. I think they ought to be up in their soap web boxes yelling this stuff and telling people about this great monster that's roaming this earth. Because you see, what communism is Satanism. Liberalism, socialism, communism is Satanism. The real conflict in the world today is God versus Satan. It's just lined up just as perfect as it can be. There's no gray area in there. It's either one way or the other, folks. And you see, I'm not going to be religious with you tonight, trying not to be, but I just want to tell you something. If Satan is cunning enough to talk a third of the angels into heaven and to believing that he could overpower God and become the number one in the universe, he's a pretty sharp dude. And I see his work on this earth. God's given me the ability to discern what's going on in this world today, and I have never seen anything mixed up about the two sides. It's either one or the other. And that's what the whole world conflict is all about. And that's where America plays a crucial part, because this is God's special place that he reserved for centuries and thousands of years for something very special to take place in it. That's why, you know, I'm 52 years old, and you know that I've been alive in this country 1/4 of its whole life. It's a young country, but it's got the oldest government, because we the people reigned supreme until about 40 or 50 years ago. And then they started educating a special way. And now you hear about the decline of the educational process in this country. Yeah, they took God out of the schools. Yeah. We the people had better stand up and be heard. We the people had better create unity. We the people had better get concerned about each other. We the people have got to straighten out government. It isn't going to be anybody else. Nobody else is going to straighten out this country except we the people. You and me. Our friends that we find in the living room and den. When Dave was talking up here tonight, he asked me what's the most important thing that he could do. In my opinion, is still the same opinion. The most important thing you can do is get out there and share what you want. You want freedom? Get out there and share your freedom with other people. Get out there and talk about freedom with other people. Let them have a piece of the action of freedom, and they too will become strong. The most important thing that you and I can do, as far as we know, is to build an army of people that have a cause above themselves, that are concerned more than just their own plight in life, that can get involved in the uplifting process of their fellow man, that can hang in there and say, I don't care what somebody told you, you can make it in the free enterprise system. You don't have to have any special education. You don't have to have any special talent. You don't have to have any special IQ. Friend, you just follow the pattern. You do those 4 things. You decide what you want. God gave you everything you need. He gave you the tools and the ability and everything you need to overcome. All you got to do is be bigger than your struggle. All you got to do is wipe away the barriers. All you got to do is keep on keeping on and learn from your experiences. All you got to do is believe and have the faith, and have faith in your fellow man, and share your dream with other people. And we can make this a greater nation than it's ever been in the past. We can make it what our forefathers wanted it to be and what many of us hope for it to be. We can make it a shining city on a hill all across this land that everybody's proud to live in. We can still make it. We can make Martin Luther's dream come true. We can make your dream come true. We can make the founders of this nation's dream come true. We can make the dream of anybody that comes to these shores' dreams come true if we the people stand up and stand together and do what we're supposed to do. Thank you. Have a seat. You see, an orderly society is not created by government. An orderly society is only created by the people who are orderly in their hearts and in their minds. If we don't get an orderly people that are orderly in their hearts and in their minds, we're not going to have an orderly people, because you cannot legislate morality. What we should be able to do is legislate the garbage off the TV set. A cesspool. You see, We can't have religion against religion in this country. We can't have race against race. We can't be divided and separated. People against people. We got to be united. We have to have an orderly society. One that's predictable and dependable. And that'll never be created by government. It'll be created only by we the people. When we got our dream right. God said, man without vision shall perish. It's a good idea to have a dream. It's a good idea not to be concerned about what someone's going to think about you because you got a dream, because people without a dream don't want you to have a dream. They're going to try to steal your dream once you've got it, and you've got to be strong enough not to let them steal your dream. When I first had my little dream that I was going to be free from working for somebody else, you know, I was in that rut where I had to go to work every morning, same time. How many people you know that get up every day when they don't want to get up, go where they don't want to go, do what they want to do for somebody they want to do it for, and try to come home and act happy at night? Man, I want to get up when I want to get up. I want to go where I want to go. I want to do what I want to do. I don't like to work 8 hours a day. I like to work 16 hours a day. I don't have to pay myself double time or overtime or anything. Then some days I like to take the whole day off too. How about you? I like to roll over some morning and that wind's coming through and that breeze is coming through just right, like on a September day. And boy, I just love to sleep when it's one sheet weather. Y'all know what I mean? Windows open, one sheet, man. And just gets beautiful about 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning after you got in bed at 4. And did you ever wake up in the morning and that wind just come through, just breeze coming through just right in that one sheet weather? And there you are, just pull that sheet up over you, and man, you're just getting those Z's, and man, that's just fantastic. Huh? And days like that, I just want to just forget it. Just sleep another 2 hours or something, or till I wake up. I'm not a 40-hour-a-week person. I like to be free. I like to be more productive than I can be in 40 hours. My productivity is not geared to 8 hours a day from 9 till 5. It's geared to whenever I feel like producing. I like to make that decision. How about you? Yeah. You see, in a we the people concept, the only way you can protect yourself is protect your fellow man, and your fellow man protect you against the government. Our biggest problem, folks, is government. That's all man's biggest problem. The people in Russia are not bad people. They got a bad government. They take those little kids right after they're born. As soon as they can start even thinking about anything, they take them from the parents, and they take the state owns those kids, and they got them totally brainwashed. That's why that guy could pull that trigger on that plane 2 days ago. He hates Americans. I don't hate people in Russia. I hate Satan. And I hate anything satanic. I shouldn't say it that way maybe, but you understand what I mean. But that's why he pulled that trigger. Because he had hate in his heart. There ain't no law. There is nothing that could make me kill 269 people innocently flying along in an airplane like that. That's a heinous, hideous, horrible thing to do, because you see, that's violating man's law. Now, you know, the guy that pulled the trigger and the people that told him to pull the trigger, they got a problem. Because God's going to do the judging on that deal. And one of these days, they're going to say, thou shalt not commit murder, and they're going to say, I never heard that. God's going to deal with that. And you better believe that. Message. Whatever you give will determine what you're going to get. You give nothing, you get nothing. You give good, you get back better. You give bad, you get back worse. Ain't it great? You want your dream to become a reality? Help other people make their dreams a reality. Don't let anybody steal your dream. Don't let anybody steal your right to polish up your dream. This is America. We are we the people. We do have that right under the Constitution of a free nation, a nation under God. We got that right. Nobody can take that right away from us unless we give them our permission. Yes, to socialism and freedom. And I hope you understand the difference, and I hope if you don't, you'll soon understand it. Because you wouldn't be here if you were not a freedom-loving person, and you're probably a freedom fighter also. But the battle in this country today is the battle of the mind. That's the battlefield today. But we have the power, if we'll just use it. The 3 votes. That vote of the grand jury, which means that gives us a right to control the laws made by our servants. And if we don't like it, we can throw them out. Amen? Ain't it great? Don't forget that authority that you and I have, we the people. And don't forget that we live in a country that we have to get together. Not finding what's wrong with each of us, but what's right with each of us, and developing a unity of we the people. That only we the people can create an orderly society, but we have to be orderly people before we can create an orderly society. So that means that we have to be against that which is wrong and against an orderly society and against we the people, and be strongly for that which is for we the people and freedom. And that we don't have the freedom to take away someone else's freedom. That our freedom stops when we begin to take away someone else's freedom. And that's why the Amway business is good for anybody. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care who your parents were. I don't care what your wealth is. I don't care what your IQ is. I don't care how much money you got. It doesn't make any difference. If you've got a dream, you're in business. Now, there's a lot of people that don't like that. In fact, the IRS, I think, would like to have everybody working for a corporation, because corporations are not controlled by the owners. They're controlled by unions and government. They don't like the entrepreneurship of being in business for yourself where you can determine your own hours. We know that. That's what we have to fight when you're in business for yourself. You just got to know it. And that's why I recommend that nobody mess around with one single nickel. Man, I have people that look after every nickel that I got coming and going. I rarely ever touch any money. Not money anyway. One of these days, we're going to get some money. When we get rid of the Federal Reserve, we won't even have to pay the national debt on $1.5 trillion that we don't even know where the money goes to. I wish we knew who it went to. I wish we'd quit paying it so we could see who was screaming. How many of you would like to see us not pay the interest on the debt to whoever it goes to that won't tell us who it is? If I were elected president, that's the first thing I'd stop, and I'm not running either. If I were elected president, that's the first thing that I'd stop right there, I guarantee you. But I'd probably have to have an army to protect me. That's right, I'd have to have an army to protect me. Yeah. All right? Now, I've said some strong things up here tonight, and you say you shouldn't say those things in public. Well, I'd do it anyway. I've been doing it for a long time. And hope it makes some sense to you. We are in the best business in the world. Just because it costs under $100, don't think it isn't a good deal, folks. Some of you guys out there think you gotta borrow all the money you can from your relatives and hit them up, and hit up all your friends, and then try to hit up the banks and get in business, and it takes 5 years to make any money back. That's a bunch of junk. Those things go out of business before you can get started good. In this business, less than $100 is a good deal. Just to see if you got the guts. Some people go out there and try to borrow money rather than prove they got guts to get in there and hang in there and do it. In this one, you don't have to have the money. All you got to do is have the guts to get out there and take the guff and take all the junk that you got to take in order to succeed in life. So you can get started for under $100. That's the way it is. Nobody judges you. You can do it if you want to do it. I've done good with it. I had people tell me when I first got in that it wouldn't work. And they were right. It wouldn't work for them. I've had people when I first got in, I was in for about a year, and they told me that I got in the right time, that it's too late for them. They were right. It was too late for them. It was too late no matter when it was. It's too late now. It's too late then. It's been too late if they saw it in 1959. It's always been too late. They've been too late for everything. They've always been $1 short and a day late. And they're going, when they die, when they put them in a hole, it's going to be the same way. It ain't going to be any difference. They're waiting for the body to catch up with the mind. The mind's been dead for 50 years. Waiting for the heart to quit beating so they can burn the whole thing at one time. It's not that they're bad people. They've accepted the brainwashing. They've accepted the junk, whoever put it in there, this computer up here, folks. Yeah, you're going to hear people say that, oh, that thing came through here a couple years ago, like the plague came through. But you see, you'll still see guys like Rex Renfro. Department of Agriculture for many years, worked hard, worked his way up, but was just like a card in a file, looked like all the rest of them. Now he's an individual. Now he's a special man to a lot of people, to his kids and everybody else. This business attracts the very finest. No question about it. And I've never known a finer man in my entire life than Rex Renfro. I can tell you that straight out, without any question, without any variation. Bam. I can tell you. You know, it attracts people from every walk of life. You know, I've never had a better buddy, a better friend, a guy that I admired, just loved to be around more than Bob Zender, a guy that was one of the top restaurateurs in the country. Bob has tremendous loyalty in his entire organization. He's got people from every walk of life, fantastic and beautiful people. We love them all. And, you know, you just don't find it. And Bob was a restaurateur for 27 years and ran one of the best restaurants in the whole Washington, D.C. area. A man of accomplishment in the other field, but much greater in this one. And, you know, we have something very special with us this weekend. We have the first woman that went diamond as a single woman in the history of Amway right here in Louise Williams. It's now Louise Filia. A NASA engineer secretary there, and just a very quiet young gal that didn't ever talk loud or say a whole bunch. She just sort of did whatever it took. I remember when I talked to Louise one time, I think she was the director of Gold Ruby, and I said, you know, you could go diamond. You could do it as a single female. And that way we could tell the guys they could do it too. You know, I need you to go diamond. So I make all the guys feel bad. You're making over 100,000, and there they can't even cut the mustard. You know, we ought to. That'd be good for everybody. And then Louise married a fantastic guy in Paul Phillips and got a beautiful kid coming along, and they're just wonderful people. And I just don't know where to find a stronger guy that can touch more lives and just a more fantastic human being that's taken on a special situation in his life. Being vivacious and energetic and athletic and intelligent and educated, married one of the most beautiful women you ever saw in your life, and then have that situation happen in his life of someone breaking in his home and almost taking his life, and then him coming back strong and becoming the great motivator that he is, and everything like that. John Crow. And folks, that's what free enterprise is all about. To come from any walk of life, to make it on your own. You know, I just don't know if anything, and Amway epitomizes what freedom's all about. Amway is just a little segment of society showing society what it should be like. People helping people. We the people being together. Unity. Purpose. Love. Concern for each other. Integrity. Honesty in dealings. And who do we have? Doctors, lawyers, the highest professions in this country. Engineers, school teachers, preachers. People from every walk of life, every background, every level of education, PhDs and double PhDs and post-PhDs, and we even got LDs and PhDs, and you name it, we got it. But we also got truck drivers and mechanics, school teachers, and people that no one thought would amount to anything. People that were put down all their lives. People were told they never had a chance. And then someone comes around and say, hey, you do have a chance. You've got what it takes. Let me show you how to use what you got. You've already got it. All you got to do is learn how to use it. Yeah, you can have a dream. You may not want to be a diamond. I don't know. You may not want to be a crown. I don't know. That's up to you. It isn't the money that's so important. A lot of people think they're working for money. You're not working for money. What you're doing is working for happiness. You want to be happy. People want to be happy. That's why America's so great, because we can be the happiest, we're the freest, because the freer people are, the happier they are. That's why there's many more happy people in America than there are in Poland or Russia, China, any other place where they chop your head off. That's why America's special. And what we are is a little segment out of society. If you'll notice this weekend, there's no vulgarity. There's no dirty jokes. There's no liquor. There is prayer. There is an appreciation for freedom and free enterprise in America. We do have the flag here. Where is it? Up there. And we do have a new diamond from Bahamas, and I think that's a Bahamian flag that's up there that'll be here. We do appreciate that which those that came before us provided for us. We do appreciate the strength of George Washington, the father. They call him the father of this nation, because life wasn't easy for him, folks. It was a very difficult and trying time when he was put into office. But he was a true servant of the people. He is what I want a president to be. He's like George Washington, one that really lived and existed for we the people, to protect what we the people have in our Constitution. Man, we had such a glorious beginning through trial and tribulation, but it was sound and solid and strong, and it was a rock. And we got to keep it that way. We got to get it back, and we got to keep it that way, and we the people can do it. When we the people are for each other, and we the people do not let government become our master. We the people. That's what free enterprise, that's what America, that's what it means to have God as the head of this country, and that's what it all means, is you and I have a right to pursue our own happiness and live it as we would live it in this country. But we got to get it right here and here to have an orderly society. We hold the keys in our hands, each of us. Each of us is important. There's nobody that isn't important in our society. That's what America says, that the individual is important. And we can either help each other or hurt each other. It's we the people that must pull together in order not to have a divided house. We've got to love each other. We've got to hang tough. We've got to protect our dream and shine it like you would an apple and not let anybody mess it up. And my wish for you this weekend is that your belief is going to be greater than my belief in America and freedom and in the individual, to preserve that which we already have, that thing called freedom through free enterprise. God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow.